Cenk finally coming around and admitting defeat, admitting he was wrong. And I just want to point out to everybody that every single time Cenk runs to the right, he has to come back to his audience and say, I was wrong, or never talk about the issue again.
Yup.
So here's a video that he posted
or gaslight you into thinking that he was right.
Yeah, lying to your face. Yeah, 100%. 3 hours ago, I hadn't seen this until right before we were about to go live, but I thought it was interesting. Cenk published a clip where he says Cenk goes off on Josh Shapiro. Josh Shapiro claims Mamdani failed to condemn anti-Semitism. So we can play the first portion of this clip really quick.
And by the way, if anyone's not if they don't remember, we were, going hard at Cenk at the time. I think we even had Emma Vigeland on the show and she responded to it live when Cenk pinned a ridiculous op-ed saying that Josh Shapiro was the most progressive option for Kamala to choose as her running mate. Which we're like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Tim Walz is right there. It was like right as Walz was surging, had a lot of momentum. And Cenk's out here saying that Josh Shapiro was somehow more progressive than Tim Walz, and that because Josh Shapiro was a Zionist, he would somehow have more credibility to dismantle Zionism. It was the most idiotic fucking analysis I've ever heard.
Yeah, I have all the receipts pulled so we can get into all of them. But I did just want to start by playing this ridiculous quote from Cenk.
F you, Josh Shapiro. Okay? Are you offended by that? Good. Good. I'm glad you're offended.
Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro has been the latest establishment Democrat to criticize Zoran Mamdani for refusing to condemn the phrase globalize the Intifada.
Still, in this day of our Lord, July 27th, 2025. So I do have to give Jordan Ewell some credit, right? If you guys remember, they used the same picture in this debate that they had. It looks like it's the same video. This is from 11 months ago, actually. They just happen to have the same
stock photo.
Yeah, stock photo of Josh Shapiro up here. But anyway, Cenk and Jordan kind of go to blows.
I remember that. Yeah, Jordan was like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro?
Yeah, absolutely. And he got in the tank with the same guy as we did. He was a Walz warrior. He was like, there's only one clear pick for Kamala Harris to make if she wants to make a splash and motivate people. Now you can nitpick, hindsight's 2020, all that jazz. But Jordan, Gavin, myself, we were all out here being like, you have to go with Tim Walz. And here is the insane op-ed that Gavin was mentioning. Don't fall for the misinformation campaign. Josh Shapiro is the progressive choice for vice president. Opinion by Cenk Uygur. And if you guys look here, we covered it at the time. Did Cenk even write the Josh Shapiro piece he published in Newsweek? Because he didn't have any of his arguments handy in that square off with Jordan Ewell. And Gavin, you're correct. We also had Emma Vigeland of the Majority Report on to dogpile him because it was such an obvious dog shit decision. But yeah, vice president and Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris is reportedly in the final stages of picking a running mate. Unfortunately, the best pick, and by which I mean the most progressive pick, is being denounced by progressives in the most self-defeating way. Josh Shapiro, the wildly popular governor of swing state Pennsylvania, is one of the front runners, and yet progressives have started a campaign against him over his position on Israel. My fellow progressives, it's got to stop. Josh Shapiro is the progressive pick. That's an insane thing to say if you're going to then have to turn around less than a year later and be like, oh, yeah, actually, this guy supported a genocide. This guy supported starving 2 million people. This guy made all kinds of baseless accusations.
He was doing all those things while Cenk wrote this op-ed.
Yep. It's just crazy. It's just absolutely fucking nuts. So it just... to come out here.
It was one of the craziest things that Cenk ever said. That's why I think in that video we were like, did he even write this op-ed? I was speculating that maybe like he'd been paid by Josh Shapiro's people to write it or get that out there. Cause I was like, what the fuck? Like, how do you even believe this shit? This makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, this was the beginning of the end for Cenk Uygur, like the true beginning of the end. Like we'd made fun of the guy for a long time. We talked about how he was unserious in his run for president, how he wasn't even really that serious in his run for Congress, how he'd union busted. We documented how he'd taken the Katzenberg money, right? And we didn't like the Polymarket Studio money. But he hadn't gone like full on, I'm just going to cater to the right wing constantly. This was the first sign that Cenk had absolutely no morals. And so anyway, he had to put out this video admitting that he was completely wrong, that I figured we could play like a minute or two.
At least he admitted he was wrong.
Yeah.
We'll tell you what Shapiro said in a moment. But Cenk, I don't know if you're Temper has settled down a little bit. What are your initial reactions to some of Shapiro's comments?
My initial reaction is you were right, Jordan. Jordan and I had a debate. I backed Josh Shapiro for VP before Kamala Harris made her selection. Jordan backed Tim Walz. And look, as I told Jordan at the time, I didn't think there was any chance she was going to pick Tim Walz, but she did, and I gave her credit for that. But I shouldn't have backed Josh Shapiro. So Josh Shapiro turns out is Israel first. So Mamdani never said globalized intifada. Now he's telling people they shouldn't say globalized intifada.
I wonder what else that progressives were right about and that your ass was fucking wrong about, even though everyone was holding your hand like a fucking child explaining it to you, bro. Yeah, I wonder what other mini myriad of examples we could point to where that's the case.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. He like, this is humiliating for him, and he comes out and he does say like, "Oh, you were right, Jordan," but I don't think he grapples with like how big of an L this is for him. It's like how humiliating it is. And nobody ever brings up that Ellen Greenberg case, but if you guys are curious about Josh Shapiro, look up Ellen Greenberg murder cover-up and then search Josh Shapiro's name. You're welcome. You're about to go down a crazy rabbit hole, but the true crime girlie's already sorted it out for you.
Yeah, 100%. And it's honestly a thank fucking God that Kamala didn't pick Josh Shapiro, because you thought it was bad hearing about how Tim Walz flew to China and slept in a different bed than his wife. That was the scam. Remember the big scam, and the fact that he like didn't deploy to fucking Iraq or Afghanistan.
A bad football coach,
right? He wasn't actually a football coach. You thought that was bad fucking drama? Oh my God! As soon as Josh Shapiro is on a major fucking political ticket on the Democratic Party, all you're going to hear about is Ellen Greenberg. She's going to become more famous than Jesus Christ. Like the Republican Oppo research department will go into fucking overdrive. They'll be on crack cocaine, accurately, telling people about the role that Josh Shapiro played in that heinous cover up. Do not let Josh Shapiro ever be the VP or the top of a ticket. It will be fucking a nightmare.
And I just want everybody to know that the Vanguard covered that shit way back in the day, okay? When she was considering Josh Shapiro, we were not sleeping. It was actually Circle Jerk America on the Vanguard channel. Harris VP frontrunner covered up a murder, okay? We went in, did it deep. You guys can still get it. 90 minutes of good content there, but just pretty crazy stuff.
Yep.
But it's never enough. It's never enough because it's not about that. Josh Shapiro doesn't care about that. He doesn't care about Jewish Americans. He cares about protecting Israel. So let's listen to what the liar Josh Shapiro has to say about Mamdani.
In an interview with Jewish Insider, Shapiro stated the following: Mamdani seemed to run a campaign that excited New Yorkers. It's true. Then he goes on. He also seemed to run a campaign where he left open far too much space for extremists to either use his words or for him to not condemn the words of extremists that said some blatantly anti-Semitic things. You have to speak and act with moral clarity, and when supporters of yours say things that are blatantly anti-Semitic, you can't leave room for that to just sit there. You've got to condemn that. Here are the other...
Has Josh Shapiro condemned the insane Islamophobia that's been directed against Zoran Mamdani?
Fuck no.
Establishment Democrats who have criticized Mamdani's comments. Take a look.
What is this? What the hell is this? And they say, okay, intifada could mean two different things. I don't use that word because it can be misinterpreted. But does it also mean an uprising that is political? Yes, it does also mean that. No, that one doesn't count. Well, why doesn't it count? No, because I want to call you an anti-Semite. But why do you want to call me an anti-Semite? Because you're criticizing Israel.
He's right about that. About it just means like an uprising. Like you could also use like the same way the word revolution. When Bernie said he was going to start a political revolution, was he talking about cutting people's heads off? Was he advocating for violence, bro? Was this a call for violence, bro? Let's look at some previous examples of revolutions. Look what happened to all the slave owners in Haiti or whatever when they had a revolution against them. Is that what Bernie Sanders calling for? Obviously you could say that with a lot of things.
Oh, 100%. And again, it's like, dude, what in the hell did you expect was going to happen if he was the vice president, bro? He would be doing this on steroids. He would be the guy that they sent out to justify every single fucking atrocity Israel does. Every time Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Summer Lee, Al Green would come out and take a vote, take a firm position like they did, they would have Josh Shapiro come out and condemn the anti-Semitism in American Congress. I shit you not. He would have done that. That would have been his whole fucking job, Cenk.
Apparently, it already is his job.
Exactly. And he's not even a fucking vice president. He's just a governor of a fucking state nobody cares about. Yeah, I said it, Pennsylvania. Fuck you and John Fetterman. All right? Fuck you and fuck the Liberty Bell.
That's why. That's why.
Anyway, we can keep playing this if you want to, but that was the main meat and potatoes I wanted to get to.
No, I mean, again, credit to Cenk for admitting that he was wrong, for not just, reporting on the story, but actually saying, like, yeah, I shouldn't have fucking backed Josh Shapiro. That was an L. Again, I don't really understand why he came to that conclusion in the first place. It still seems fucking maddening, specifically when Tim Walz was becoming a real possibility.
Yes.
Like he claims that, there was no way Tim Walz was going to be the pick. Like Tim Walz was in the top 3 on the betting odds that same fucking weekend, or that same week that Cenk released that. He was climbing, and Cenk was trying to stop the momentum.
He didn't have his third eye open like the Vanguard, okay? Over here, the Oracle himself this dude was calling shots for a straight month. I don't know what was in his water, the reverse osmosis, but there was like a week straight where Gavin was like it was like getting hot at the blackjack table. You're like, whoa, am I watching Rain Man? Is he counting cards? What's this guy got going on? Like, who's in his ear? Am I about to get arrested by the fucking government because this guy's just an op? Like, how does he have the intel?
Look out the door if you hear an ambulance. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there. Be there. The Vanguard will be there.